Time to clean up my music business with some gig soap.
Take me through the water.
Welcome to the Gig Soap Podcast. Today I have my good friend Aaron Davis on with me. And man, Aaron, I tell you, I'm excited because to talk to you. You've got so many things going on, so many different things that all connect back to music. And it's just great to have you on here. Thanks for being here.
Of course. Thanks so much for the invite. Love to be here.
Yeah, man. But I do want to give just a little bit of my experience with Aaron, just to give people that don't know you, Aaron is, among other things, he is an auxiliary player for Big Time Grain Company. And by that means that pretty much anything that we need Aaron to do, he can do. And he can do it well. I mean, guitar, bass, keys, drums. You even learn some banjo stuff for the deal. And you show up with extreme excellence every time with it. And we just always know that it's going to be awesome. And you're a true example of really investing into your gift and it making its way for you. So, man, first of all, I appreciate you being that way.
Yeah.
Dude,
No, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
It's, I recognize that I am not the best out there. So I try to compensate by being prepared. That's kind of my motto, I want to show up and you guys feel comfortable that, I'm going to hit the parts. So
always do. I remember the first time you filled in on drums, you'd been filling in on some aux before and maybe some guitar even before that. The first time you showed up in drums, I was like, wow, I didn't even notice we had a fill-in drummer. That's
yeah.
It was awesome.
Cool.
So,
Yeah, I always loved being involved with you guys. It's always a blessing.
well, let's talk a little bit about, man, just everything you've got your hand in with music and just let's hear about some of those things first. Let's start there.
Yeah, I mean, right now, obviously, I play out around Kansas City with a few different artists, you guys and a few others. And, I love playing out as much as I can, at least the season in life that I'm in currently. I have a 4-year-old and a newborn, so I'm not out on the road, as much as I would like to be, or playing out as much as I would like to. I am a creative director at a church. That's kind of my main day job, and I get to do a lot of music in that role, which is awesome. So we're currently mixing and mastering, producing, original songs consistently, and I get to do a lot of that, help the writing and the kind of like, building the arrangements and then playing live and then helping even in the post-production piece. So that's awesome because I get to do that part of my main job, but obviously also I get to go out and play with other people around town. So even though you could say, my main day job is not pro musician, I have my hands in a lot of music stuff and a lot of training online. So I have a YouTube channel that I do a lot of, things with for training and equipping and trying to add value to people.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's no different than the entrepreneurs out there that are running, 2, 3, 4, sometimes up around 7
Yeah.
businesses. They're diversifying, and I think that's a wise thing to do. You're just doing it within your passion.
Yeah.
So I've watched, your videos when you put them out. You've had some endorsements from some guitars, as well. Talk a little bit about what you've done with that.
Yeah, so really just over the last, years, I've really invested a lot into YouTube specifically. I feel like YouTube is the best platform for like the long term to develop a kind of like a community that actually wants to follow you. I feel like it's better than Instagram, TikTok, Facebook because the content has a longer shelf life. You do reel and story and stuff like that, and TikToks, they kind of circulate for a smaller duration of time than for YouTube. I have videos that are 8 years old that are still getting thousands of views per week or per month, just because, you know, it's up there and the algorithm likes it. So I feel like if you want to develop a community that's going to, you know, that you can provide value to, and then is going to, in return, you know, say, I'm going to invest in you because I like your content, YouTube is the way to go. And so I've been working on that, and you know, I'm almost at like 10,000 subscribers, which for me has been a pretty big accomplishment. I know some people probably have made it there quicker than I have, but the great thing is it does open up doors as you start gaining a larger audience, larger influence. Companies reach out to you and they're like, hey, will you demo this? Will you feature this on your platform? And I've really had a lot of random ones too. You know, it's like, hey, can you demo this e-cigarette? And I'm like, well, you know, I'm a music channel, so it doesn't really make sense. But yeah, a lot of...
And you don't really smoke, do you?
I don't. So you know, I was like, I don't know how you found me, but it's pretty cool, and it's kind of honoring, you know, when companies start reaching out to you.
Mm-hmm.
It's really cool. So, but I'm kind of selective on the ones that, you know, I choose to feature. You know, I want to actually believe in the product, and not just feature it because they want to pay me for it. So, but yeah, few guitar companies, pick companies, pedal, all that kind of stuff. So it's been really cool because sometimes, you know, you may not get like a lot of money for it, but you may get a cool free piece of gear. So I think most of us
Always look for
musicians
gear.
are all about that. You know?
I haven't looked in this for a while. What is the threshold with YouTube where you actually start seeing some ad revenue from them?
All right, so to become a monetized YouTube partner, you have to have 1,000 subscribers. I think they just changed it. It used to be 4,000 watch hours. Now I think it's 3,000, or you have to have 10 million short views within a calendar year. So all of that is within a 12-month period. So if right now it's July, so between July 2024 and July 2025, you have to have 3,000 watch hours, and 1,000 subscribers, or again, the 10 million. So if you fall within that threshold, you can be monetized, and then you become a YouTube partner. And then when people can place ads on your videos, you then in return make AdSense through Google, for every time someone watches a video and that ad comes up, you make, you know, X amount of pennies, and then hopefully it adds up. So
Are you working towards that, or are you there?
yeah, I've been there for like 5 years or so.
Okay.
And the reality is, it's kind of a good segue. You know, a lot of people are like, hey, I want to be a YouTube star, or I want to be a YouTube influencer. And the reality is you don't make a lot of money off AdSense. What you make money on is the call to actions that you can ask your audience to invest in. So for instance, I have about 3 videos that have almost around 200,000 views, which is not viral by any means, but that's a lot for, you know, a lot of people. So like a 200,000 view video, I made $600. So it's not like you're pulling, you know, 10 grand a month just off of a few videos, even if they're reaching 1 million. So, you know, people that have 5 million subscribers and they're putting out a video every 2-3 days, you know, yeah, they're making a decent income just off of AdSense. But those of us that have under 100,000 subscribers, you're not going to make a huge income revenue just through ads. You're going to try to capitalize on that group that's following you and then drive them to whether that's like some type of digital product that can provide value to them. If you want to reach into that, hey, I want this YouTube thing to be my side hustle, you know?
So are you driving people to something right now?
I do. I have multiple like digital products. I have some notes over here. So if you see me glance over, that's what I'm looking at. But yeah, I have multiple PDFs. So like I just released a few months ago like a basically if you want to learn how to play chord, like lead guitar chord shapes, it's basically rooted within the cage system and the number system, but learning patterns that you can transpose in any key. I use it pretty much every time I play. So I was like, hey, I need to take this, create some type of product, and then offer it to people. And I think that's the best way to do it. If you have something that can provide value to people and that you have expertise in, capitalize on it. Offer it to the people that find value in yourself and your content, and see how it goes. I've also done some of the like funnel strategies where I've done basically a paid ad, and then if someone clicks on the paid ad that I was advertising, whatever product it was, they go to a landing page, and then it basically, I'm offering them something for free that gets them in a mailing list. I can then follow up and try to upsell to a different product, be like a mid-tier product, and then so to a premium product. So if if you're interested in any type of entrepreneurship, you probably have seen ads of those funnel strategies online where people are trying to get you into their digital product academy and all that kind of stuff. But that's basically the simple structure. You have a product that is free, that can provide value. You try to offer it to people, and then if they like it, hopefully they follow up and they want to buy the next thing.
So, are you doing anything? Are you doing anything in addition to that with affiliate type links, like with products you?
So I'm like an Amazon affiliate member, so pretty much in all of my videos, I tag all of the gear that I'm using below. The great thing about that is if someone clicks on that link, even if they don't buy that specific product, if they stay in Amazon and then they buy something else, you get a commission for it. Really? because you got them to Amazon. So the other day, it was crazy. I forgot how much I made, but someone clicked on one of my affiliate links. They didn't buy my product, but they ended up buying like $3,000 worth of Amazon stuff. And I made, a good little chunk of change because they just got on there through my link. So it's worth doing all those little small things that in the long run add up, And again, I'm on a smaller scale. I don't have 5 million subscribers, but out of 10,000 people, you can find a good amount of people that want to buy your stuff, Yeah.
Yeah, when I was first getting into booking, the agent that I was working for said something to me that I never forgot. He said, never downplay the small, low-paying gigs that you're booking. He goes, because those add up, and they also build credibility in the market, and they give you, and people will, if you take care of them, people will refer you to other things, which could lead to the bigger ones. And I assume it's a similar thing here. Once you get known for something, then people are talking about it. I mean, I own a quad cortex today because of you.
Yeah.
And so does Colin, I think. It was a big reason. And who knows else. Now we were fortunate because we're friends. We got to do this demo in person with you that you made zero off of.
Yeah.
By the way, are you doing a demo in quad cortex yet?
I have not, man. I'm going to. I need to. I think it's just really important to, like, if you want to make money through digital products or even just make content online, like, do it in something that you enjoy, and do it something that you can actually provide value.
Yeah.
Like, there's so many people out there, hey, you can make $10,000 your first week selling, this digital product.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, you don't have to be an expert in this. Just, and I understand that to an extent. But I don't know. I don't like knowing that there's people out there selling informational products when they don't know anything about it. And all they did was put in a prompt in ChatGPT and had them write out a PDF for X, Y, and Z. I think if you're going to get in this, I think you need to find your niche. And in that niche, you do need to be an expert. You need to know what you're getting into so that you can truly provide value. Like, that should be the heart behind it. Are you helping people develop their skill by providing the value and the expertise that you have gained through your experience?
Yeah. I read one time when I was trying to decide whether I was going to start coaching or not, because I was feeling like, why would I do this? Why would anybody listen to me? Was my thoughts.
Yeah.
And then I read something said, doesn't matter what you know more than somebody else that's willing to pay for that information.
Yeah, totally.
And that one statement was freeing for me, because I was like, okay, I don't have to know it all to start this. I just have to know what I know and be willing to share that with somebody else. And then I'll learn as I go. And then as I learn more, I'll share more. But you're built, like, back to the quad cortex. When you laid that out for me, it was so clear.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, there was no way I was leaving there without buying that thing. I think I ordered it that afternoon.
Yeah.
And that your ability to make things really clear for people, I think, is really important too, in how you present things. And now you've got a new book out as well, right? In the last year or so?
I do. Yeah. Last year I released a book, and I was kind of in the same mindset as you said. I was like, I feel like I have this topic that I want to write on. And it is a Christian-based book. So it was something that I felt like the Lord was asking me to do. But I had that insecurity of like, who am I? Why would someone want to read a book that I wrote? But really trying to overcome that insecurity, and just follow through, grind and do it. It's called Create and Activate. It's about creatives. So kind of the heart behind it is, there's a lot of people that don't view themselves as a creative. And throughout the book, I'm trying to convince people that God has created every single person on this planet to have the capacity to create. And he's inviting you to partner with him in that creativity or whatever skill set it is. And then how to do that well in partnership with him. So that's kind of the heart behind the book. It was a great learning experience, if anything. I think being able to work hard and actually execute something and finish something that's hard is never wasted, So I haven't made a whole lot of money off of that book. That was never really the goal, but I learned a lot from it, and I gained a lot of experience, and I expanded my thought process through writing, that will help me even in other areas. So I'm really glad that I did it.
Well, you crowdfunded the project, right?
I did. I went through whatever the fundraising site. GoFundMe.
Yeah.
So I had a lot of people that support me go in and invest in the mission of the book, and it was a blessing because I didn't have to put. That was kind of the thing that I told the Lord. I was like, if you want me to actually follow through and get this printed, you're gonna have to fund it because I don't have the money for it, because it's expensive to. I was even doing like a self-published route. It's expensive to get it edited, get it formatted, and actually printed. Way more than what I've done in like the music scene. If you produce your own album and put it on Spotify, you can do it for not a lot of money. But doing a book was way more expensive than I anticipated. But I did not have to put $1 down. So
nice.
Everyone that funded me, I also obviously gifted them a book. But I didn't have to put $1 down, so it was awesome.
Well, and I think what's cool about that GoFundMe, if it's done right, and I feel you did do it right, was it brings your village, I should say, along for the ride.
Yeah.
Includes them in the process so they feel part of it, and we can go back to this imposter syndrome and think, why would people want to invest in it? But you don't know till you try.
Yeah.
Right. And you tried, and sure enough, it got paid for.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
that was awesome. What I mean, there's a lot we've hit very quickly.
Yeah.
Have we missed anything as far as everything you got your hands on or in?
I mean, that's really where I'm at right now. In regards to music, yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. I have been trying to work up a repertoire of my main training is in classical guitar, so I've been trying to bring that back up, get the chops back, and develop kind of a repertoire list of that if I wanted to start playing out a little bit more. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at right now. So
Do you have anything on the horizon that you want to do besides that you haven't done?
yeah, I've had some, you know, try to dream big in regards to the music scene. Um, Obviously, I would love to do just more of that online training, even do like a course, a tone course, a theory course. Just keep building upon that digital real estate, if you will, so that if I do gain more followers, there's more content for people to engage with. I would love to do that. I'd love to play out more, but something that I really have vision on, I would love to, and this is, you've listened to some of my music that I've put out that kind of has the cinematic rock vibe. I would love to create a set list that is basically all music from movies, so movie scores that is arranged through more of that cinematic rock context, and have visual and lighting, production that supports the music. So, if you came to a show, you would hear live music from, John Williams, Hans Zimmer, stuff like Star Wars and Pirates of the Caribbean and Inception and all sorts of that kind of stuff, where, I'm not a vocalist. I like instrumental music. Not everyone likes instrumental music. People want to go and they want to be able to sing along. But if you can provide a set list that is instrumental that everyone knows, I think it could still be engaging and can hit different generations, So I think that would be a fun project to start working on.
Well, it really resonates, you talking about just knowing your gift set. I mean, if anybody's gonna put that thing together, even down to the video content,
Yeah.
I mean, you're the guy that can do it. I mean, this is how Trans-Siberian Orchestra started, wasn't it? I mean, it was
Right.
just an
Yeah.
idea, an instrumental idea, and here, what are we running? I mean, 20, 30 years on that thing, maybe
Yeah.
more,
Totally.
and it
Yeah.
sells out every year.
I've always loved them. I've followed them,
Mhm.
for years. Ever since I started playing guitar, I love those guys. So yeah, it'd be kind of similar format, but more of like cinematic scores transcribed to like rock music. So
I haven't heard anybody doing this. Have you?
I'm not really. So I was like, this could be cool, So
It's unique from an agent point of view. It's something totally different.
yeah,
One of the questions we get asked sometimes is what do you have that's different?
Yeah.
That's an experience and all that. And I have a few answers for them, but I don't have enough.
yeah,
Everybody's looking for that next experience as an audience, man, this might be it.
yeah,
And everybody just heard it here that you're starting this thing, right?
yeah. Well, I don't know if that's confirmation whether it's going to happen or not, but I have worked on some arrangements of like some like Beethoven stuff where you take a symphony, and I've done like excerpts from it, ones that you would recognize whether you knew if it was Beethoven or not. And that's the cool thing about classical music and even movie scores. People would recognize it, and even if they don't know what it's from, they know the melodies, And that's the cool thing about movie scores is they're recognizable melodies, and that's really the deciding factor of, I feel like, good music is if you hear a melody and you recognize it, and you can sing it back. It was written well,
When you explain something to somebody like your guitar cage system that you did, when you explain that on video or to an artist, do you have a kind of a formula in your head of a path you go through for that to make sense? Or how does that work for you?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing when you're teaching is to explain the why. So it's like, if I'm talking about what you just referenced, my chord shape system. I'm sure we've all been there, where we come into a set. We learned a song for an artist, and the vocalist says, "I'm struggling today. Can we lower it half a step?" And you're like, "Oh crap! I learned it in A, and now I have to learn it in A flat."
Yeah.
Which is not the most friendly
Learn it with
guitar
open
key.
chords.
Right.
Yeah.
So being able to transpose on the spot without a capo or without a transpose pedal, and being able to visualize patterns to where you can just instantly transpose and play in whatever key you want, just knowing the number system and the progression that you're playing is invaluable. Especially as a musician, that if you're ever coming into a studio context or you're going to play live, you have to be able to do that on the spot. If you can't, you're not going to get called back, you know? So being able to tell someone, you need to learn this if you want to be a professional player. Here's a really easy way for me to solve your problem. So like really just trying to tell them, I'm about to show you an easy way to fix your problem. That's my view of teaching. And then they're going to be invested in it, and they're going to listen, and they're going to want to implement it. So even if I execute my teaching style, my communication to them poorly after that, they at least want to try it. You know what I mean? Like, they have to want to learn. If you cannot inspire people to work hard to learn, they're not going to try. It doesn't matter how good of a teacher you are. If you do not inspire people, they're not going to implement it. So that's kind of my process of how to get started.
Have you considered the idea that you also know how to teach somebody to do these, put these systems together? I mean, like these programs. Have you considered teaching that as well?
I have. That market is pretty saturated, and not that's not a good reason to not do it. Like, there's always someone that can learn from you.
Maybe niche it right to music, though.
Right. Like how to teach music online. Yeah, I thought about it. There are a lot of different veins where I feel like I would love to invest in. But yeah, I have thought about creating a course, for just how to teach teachers online. Yeah.
When so your main driver is YouTube, but are you using the other things like TikTok and Facebook and all that to drive traffic there?
I do. So if I'm going to, let's say I'm going to do a paid ad, I'll do it on Instagram and Facebook. Paid ads on YouTube is a little different. The thing you have to think about for paid ad on Instagram, let's say you go online on YouTube, you say, I want to learn how to change a spark plug, and then here comes a paid ad. What are you going to do? You're going to skip that ad as fast as you possibly can to get to that video that you clicked on to watch. A lot of times, if you're looking at a guitar video, you'll get an ad about guitars. But usually, because on YouTube, you are going to a video specifically for a specific reason, a lot of times you'll skip an ad. And in Facebook and YouTube, generally when you encounter a sponsored ad, you're scrolling. So it's easier for someone to come across your real ad and to stay on there because they're not looking for something specific. They're doom scrolling, right? So I've found it's more, I get more actual engagement in the ad, not on YouTube. And I actually end up utilizing just my platform of my subscribers on YouTube more than the paid ad. And again, back to why I want to invest in more of YouTube is because that community aspect is more beneficial in the long term than just trying to push out a bunch of paid ads on other platforms.
Yeah. So on your paid ads on the other platforms, are you then, where you trying to drive them from the ad?
So I drive them to my website.
Your website. Okay.
So I create a landing page that is catered towards that product, obviously. So that way, when they click on it, it goes straight to that that page. It obviously has some type of CTA or call to action for the person.
Man, dude, it's great.
And it's an easy strategy to implement.
Mm-hmm.
And my why for all of that is, again, my time is very limited, with my kids and my other full-time job. So being able to own digital real estate that I don't have to manage, and that I don't have to trade time for dollars after I've already created it, is great. It's that evergreen income. You make it, it's there. When people encounter it, boom, they buy it while you're sleeping, which is a great model for those of you that are like wanting to do kind of a side hustle thing. I mean, it can be obviously your full-time thing, but if you really need that like side thing where you don't have to constantly, add 20 hours a week to your full-time thing, it's a great way to start.
Well, we haven't even talked about the tax benefits.
Yeah, totally.
I mean, because you're now in most cases doing this in your home.
Yeah.
So your room that you're recording in, you can write off a percentage of that, a percentage of your utilities. I mean, so you're keeping more money just by doing it.
Totally. I'm not a tax professional by any means, so don't take anything that I say to, take it as a grain of salt. But yeah, I count off, you can count off paid ads as advertisement.
Mm-hmm.
You can write them off. You can write off, like you said, everything in your home, any new gear that you're using for those videos. Like, yeah, everything's a write-off. But it does make a difference. So.
Well, what's unrelated to any of this? What are you listening to right now?
Oh, man. You know me, I'm a huge, like, Corey Wong fan.
Yeah.
So I've been listening to the new, he's coming out with new stuff all the time. But I love the Flyers album that he and Mark Lettieri and the bass player from Wolfpack, they come out with great stuff. So I'm always kind of in that instrumental lane. For other stuff, man, I listen to a lot of just old music. I mean, I love Pink Floyd. I'm a huge David Gilmour fan. Love Eric Johnson. Andy Timmons, good guitar players. I'm always listening to those guys.
And so what is your main axe right now? What kind of guitar or guitars, I should say?
I mean, I'm still a Strat guy. I've had my same Strat for 20 years, and that's still my go-to guitar. So, for acoustics, I have my Gibson, my Gibson. My SJ200, that's kind of my main acoustic axe as well. So, but it's hard with electric guitars, because it's fun having, you have tons of electrics. It's fun to just, especially when you haven't picked one of them up in a while, to pick it up and you'll be like, oh man, I forgot how much I love this guitar.
Right?
Like the Duesenberg, it's kind of a one-trick pony, but every time I pick it up, because it has that single P90, I'm like, man, I love this guitar,
So which guitar were you playing when you got that huge compliment from your idol? And that was through the idol's not the right word, from somebody the guitar player. I can't remember.
Yeah, Stu G.
Okay.
If you've ever heard of him, he plays for a band called Delirious. They're probably one of the biggest Christian rock bands that's ever come out. I mean, they've toured with some of the biggest secular bands in England. I mean, massive players. But Stu G came to my church for a conference, and I got to play in front of him. And afterwards, he came up and was like, bro, your tone was awesome, in his British accent, which I'm not going to try to copy.
That was the quad, right?
I was using the quad, and I was playing a telly.
Okay.
So
what captures were you using for that?
Same ones you use, my friend, or the ones that I gave you at least.
What you gave me?
The matchless ones. I always use my matchless ones with the DC-30 on one side and the Lightning on the other side, and a stereo image. And then I use the Brown Protein for everything. I mean, the Brown Protein is one of the best drive pedals I feel like that has come out in a long time. So I use it for everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, not only did you help me decide to buy the quad cortex, you gave me the skeleton patches to use that I now when we go play with a new sound company, they every time they come up to me, every time, and they say, "Man,
Yeah.
what are you using?" You know, they
Yeah.
all want to know because they're not used to those modelers sounding that good, that realistic.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, I
The
mean, what I
great
noticed
thing,
about it also is just I mean, when I dig in, it feels like an amp.
yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
That's the thing where like there's so many good sounding modelers out there, but not all of them nail the feel.
yeah,
So the cool thing is like, you and I, we love modelers, but we also love really nice amps, and we've owned them and we've played them. So like, I had a Matchless Chieftain, which is kind of my go. I love anything Matchless, but when I would put a pedal in front of the Matchless, you can feel the compression, you can feel the dynamics change. There's a lot more dynamic range. When I would capture that amp on the Kemper, it sounded, just like it, but it felt way more compressed. The dynamic range was way smaller. When I would capture that in my quad and then I would hit that same pedal, it felt just like when I hit the real amp. And when I compared those two, I was like, whoa, there is something special here. So I'm a big quad Cortex fan because of the feel.
yeah.
So,
And then of course, moving the stereo ears, if from mono ears was game changer for me
oh yeah.
because I'm panning that quad in my ears, hard left and hard right, so I get the full effect of
Hmm.
what I got going on between those two amps.
Yeah, I mean running stereo, like in this day and age, I feel like is imperative. Like if you have to run mono, like that's okay. But running stereo allows you to run more effects effectively. Because if you're running really, especially, I'm in the church world, and if you've ever listened to worship music, guitar tone is drenched in reverb and delay. And if you're gonna do that and you want to be heard, you have to have a stereo image. If you're summing all that to mono, it's really hard to hear it distinctly. So I'm huge about running stereo amps and a stereo rig if you're gonna use all those wet effects.
Yeah, for sure. Right on, man. Well, thank you, Aaron. This has been awesome, enlightening. Any last words of advice that you give somebody wanting to pursue any one of these paths that you're on, or a combination of them?
Again, I think your motivation always, if you're gonna go like a teaching route or trying to sell people something, start with, how can I provide value? How can I serve these people that are wanting to learn something from me? And gain trust that way. People are going to buy stuff from you because they trust you and because you're providing a solution to their problem. So if you can approach it that way and not just, how can I sell people things? How can I just make products that people are going to buy? No, approach it, how can I help people? And in the long run, in the long term, you are going to have a larger following because they trust you and you helped them. And they will return back to you for their next problem in that niche.
Yeah, that's good, man. Well, we're going to make sure everybody has all your links in the show notes so that they can find you. They can check out your YouTube, any of your products as well. So, man, thanks, Aaron.
Of course. Thanks for having me, Chad.
All right. You've been listening to Gig Soap.